Hello, my name is Renee L. Rose. I'm the founder of Explore Art Talk. With Explore Art, our featured guests, we have meaningful conversations celebrating artistic and cultural diversity that makes our world extraordinary. So sit back, relax, and check out our content. Thank you for joining us today. You have the prettiest smile. I'm going to keep telling you that.
Thank you.
A pleasant. I am so impressed by you.
Really? Oh, wow. Thank you. I don't know what to say. Thank you.
I'm assuming you're a young woman.
You can make that assumption. I'm not going to.
I'm 64, so I know you're not 64.
Are you serious?
65 this year, yes.
I don't believe you. There's no way.
We are as people.
Are you serious?
Yes. Yes, I am.
You look beautiful. What?
Thank you. So
Okay.
that's why I say my heart feels with joy as I listen to all of your different podcasts, the videos. For you to be a young woman and to have such a wise soul. You have a very old soul. And I'm so glad that you're sharing your inner strength, your emotions, and your process of what it's like to be human, of what the spiritual process you go to develop yourself.
Yes, yes.
Because it's one thing for our generation to say it, but it's a whole other thing coming from a young woman like you. I think they can relate.
Yes. I didn't know. I mean, it was my hope that I would be relatable. And it has taken some time to get to this space, but I thought it would be worth it. So here I am.
So tell me how you started doing this. How did you start this journey?
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question. I think
relaxing. I mean, were you 5? Were you 6? Were you 15? Did you just kind of fall into it?
I have always been creative. I am uncontrollably creative. It has been that way since I was a little girl. And when I do talk to people, I like to summate to kind of hit the highlights. I was born into this world through a realist. And I think that is so interesting with we'll call it my creative essence. My mom was such a real person, such a black and white person. She would hinge my creative expression on like priorities. So as an artist, I have a segment of friends who are very by the book. They manage financial accounts, but the creativity meter is dead. You know, they often talk to me about, I want that spark back in my life. And then on the other hand, I have friends who are radically creative, who, don't have a place to stay. Their life is a little more tumultuous. And I am always grateful that my mom hinged both. She made space for my creativity, and she also helped me balance that. And I was able to express in both worlds. So it started very early on with that balance of creativity. I'm split. I've done so many tests. I'm split down the middle with left and right brain.
Yeah,
so for instance, I was a chemistry pre-med major in undergrad. I taught high school chemistry. So there's a whole segment of my brain or thinking process, if you will, that's numbers, results, data, science, investigation. And then, I sing, I play guitar, I play saxophone, I play the drums. And so it's a smash up of gifts, and I'm grateful. So that's my long, short answer of when it started.
Synergy then. That's why my undergrad was in biology. I was going to go to med school. I changed it to natural sciences.
Okay.
Master's is in social service administration because I was a had lead roles, and I used to work for the state.
Okay.
So I've always been left and right brain, so I can understand where you're coming from.
All right, cool.
It really helps shape who I am.
Yes,
This explains a lot about you.
it does. I hope so.
Yeah, it comes from when I listen to you, you're creative. A lot of people are creative, but it comes from your soul. It comes from your heart,
It does.
coming from your inner spiritual self, I feel.
I don't know how to stop. I don't know if I will ever stop, because I don't believe that there is a limit to how creativity can be expressed. I
Yeah.
remember being in college, and I was a chemistry pre-med major, and I was so obsessed with music. And I remember talking to my mom, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to travel the world. I want to be on tour, you know? And she would tell me, just because you don't like something doesn't mean that you don't have to be good at it. It's always beneficial to master a skill, even if you don't need to use it. And so in that, I think that creativity found other ways to leak out. I remember when I was in the classroom teaching high school students, I may not have been recording music, but I felt very creative in that environment. I remember when I wasn't in the classroom and I was singing at lounges and bars, I felt very creative in that moment. And I think my innate draw to creating is deeply rooted into the sensation of freedom. And I want that everywhere, no matter what I'm doing. So I just let it flow.
So you play several instruments. Did you take music classes, or did you just pick it up? Because I have some of my cousins that naturally
Yes.
started playing and have always been musicians. Was it like that, or was it a combination?
It was a combination. Most of it is natural, like playing by ear. Most of my family, I come from a very creative, musical, artistic family on both sides.
Oh,
And
wow.
there was some formal training, but I've never had any formal training in what I would consider my root instrument.
Okay.
I feel that this is the instrument.
Yeah.
Whether it's singing or two-dimensional words on the page. And so I've never had any formal vocal training, but you know, I had piano lessons, and I was in the high school marching band, and I couldn't listen to R&B and hip hop, but I would sneak and do it. And then I've been in church all my life. So I have all of these areas where I've been stimulated, but never in my root instrument. And so I think, and I'm thinking about this now while talking to you, that I have kind of made a portal with all these other little outlets, and I bring them into my particular root instrument. But it was a combination of some formalized training, but never in my root gift, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense because it's the essence of who you are. For that, I mean, when I saw you on Instagram and I started listening, I said, God, she's really unique. A lot of people rap, a lot of people do spoken word, a lot of people sing, dance, or whatever, but you have a unique style. You have a very unique style, and the combination of all of those was what drew me in. And then you have a clear message that's coming from the heart. And you're taking a person on a journey.
Yes.
Start with different subjects and you help them lead them to the next subject. And you're also, which is very unique, you're vulnerable. You don't mind people seeing you vulnerable, which is, I think, very special. It shows a lot of love and it shows a lot of confidence. I think anybody who's an artist, to put yourself out there to the public is like putting yourself out there butt naked.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I'm an artist too. And just letting it go and you show yourself to the world. I think that takes courage and bravery.
It does. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. It does. And it hasn't always been that way.
No, it's
I haven't always been courageous. And I'm so glad that I'm here now,
Yes.
because I think in that leap of faith has been such profound peace and purpose. You know, I
Yes.
looked for it in other ways. And as a young woman, I couldn't find anyone to look up to. I couldn't find any definition where I fit, and I tried. Oh, I tried to fit in every box, you know,
On that journey.
painfully.
But you embraced it. And
Yes,
that spiritual journey is how you evolve spiritually. Because without
yes.
that contrast, you can't really find yourself. You don't even try to seek out yourself, but you did. But you did it on camera. When did you start expressing yourself, your inner emotions? How long have you been doing that part of it?
Oh, I've been doing that a long time.
What's a
And
long time? A year? 5 years?
all my life. All my life I've been
Good
doing
for
it.
you.
And I have, I'll say this and hopefully you can follow me and it'll make sense. So Rumi Ryan is a blend of two entities. There's Rumi and there's Ryan. Rumi is the brainchild. He's very observant. He sees a lot, but isn't as bold to articulate. Ryan is fiery. Ryan makes Rumi write, and Rumi makes Ryan speak. And so this is a combination of two entities right now at present. But before these two, I have had several. I have records and musical projects under different artist names. I've done praise and worship in churches. I've sung in other countries on missions trip, on the street. Like I have constantly recreated myself. I'm not I think that I have been peeling off layers. So I don't think this is a recreation. I think this is it's
There's a book, I can't think of the name of it. One of my spiritual friends from Cuba had me read this book when I was in my 20s, and I was like, I didn't resistant. As I got older, I was like, oh yeah, life is like peeling off layers of an onion.
Yes, it is.
Because I think you're born pure. You don't have all that stuff that acculturates you, but you do have that when you're younger, and you need to peel those layers off to find out who you are.
Yes.
So I clearly understand what you're saying.
Yes. Yes.
So Rumi and Ryan is the name you came up with for your identity at this particular point.
Yes.
I like that.
No, there are other personalities that haven't, disclosed themselves.
But you can even explain it. Some people just come up with a brand.
Right.
It's just a brand.
Right.
Everything you do has a meaning.
Yes.
You know that though, huh?
When you say it back to me, yes, but I think that I am studying me, and I want to be felt. I don't know if I will always be understood. That will be nice. And I am more natural when it comes to expressing feelings. So much of my personal journey has been articulating how I feel or what I feel or who is feeling it. And I love the fact that people connect to me. I do. I love everything about it. This is a very personal journey.
Yes.
So some of the things that we're even discussing today, I'm in them, but I don't have words for them. As you ask me questions, I can articulate this is that and this is what it is. And so there are more personalities, and I try to give them names to help me be just a smidgen identifiable to people. I'm okay with not being able to be placed, right? Or to be placed in several areas. But sometimes, for instance, you got to know how to get home. You got to know what street you live on. You got to have a genre when you register with Spotify and Apple Music.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So sometimes you just name a thing and you just express. And so that was the name I chose. And Rumi is short for ruminating.
But you don't have to limit yourself. A lot of writers, a lot of filmmakers, a lot of people that are creative. I'll give Apple as an example. When Apple first started, they started with certain things to help people identify where they were coming from. They didn't just throw all the technology at people.
Right.
So you're taking people on a journey, and you've drawn me in. I'm listening.
Okay.
And as you go on this, we go on this journey with you.
Yes.
You can introduce all those other identities.
Yes.
Understand, I'm comfortable with where you coming from. I trust you. And
yes.
Even if I don't know all those different areas, I'll learn. I'll explore. I'll even explore with me. Or it'll help me understand somebody else.
Yes. Yes.
Your work has a nice pattern and rhythm to it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not just, I've listened to a lot of spoken word people, and I love poetry too.
Okay.
People that are great in any type of spoken word or poetry or stories take people on journeys and bring them with them. They don't splash.
Right.
Some people just get up there, you're like, okay.
Right.
I'm feeling you, but you're not doing that. You're very methodical.
Yes.
That science and that
it is
very methodical, and placing things at the same time is very free and very open.
Yes, it is. It feels good.
When you are on a podcast, or you're singing, are you freelancing where you're just letting it flow?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You are kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you are so talented. Okay.
Thank you.
I sound like a big fan, but I am. Wow.
Yeah,
you let it flow.
Yes, I do.
I love it.
I often prefer to be under the gun. Because I think we've all had seasons in our lives that are rehearsed, even if it's to keep up public appearance or, for the formality of our jobs. And as you continue to rehearse, you can almost assume that you are that character. And that's just what you put on. And so I find that in the most spontaneous of moments, there's that pure idea or concept or thought, or you don't have time to edit how you really feel. So I just let it flow.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And as a writer too, I hope I didn't cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I would try to, we go through these modalities. We teach kids how to write on paper. I went through that whole process, right? Y'all did. There's a certain stroke when you're painting. And so I had a lot of modeling. I tried these other avenues to expression. And I remember maybe around when I was maybe like in my 20s, I would write and I would look back. I'm like, the mic is here. I'm looking back at the paper trying to see what I wrote, and I'm just singing. Right. And I remember either it was a friend of mine or a producer, they grabbed my notebook and they said, how can you understand this? I hadn't noticed that instead of writing words, I would be writing symbols. It was not legible because I couldn't keep up with where I wanted to go vocally. And so I stopped writing. I stopped writing things down, and that made flowing a thing. So now it's just, even all the songs, the poems, I just flow.
I know some of the rappers that are really good can do that. That's a talent. You trust yourself. That's a talent.
Yes, I do. Now I do go through an editing process because some pieces, right?
Yeah.
Everything for everybody, but that initial release, I just let it flow.
So with Rumi Ryan, because I definitely looked at all the stuff you sent me and more.
Okay.
You're specifically talking about certain subjects.
Yes.
Is that because you want your audience to be in touch with those specific subjects? Or is it where you are dealing with right now, or is it a combination?
It is, that's a really good question, by the way. I just want to go on record and say that's a fantastic question.
My curiosity.
I am usually public in post. So my supporters are encountering me with a little bit of delay because I'm a real person with real feelings and I need some sacredness around it. I need a protocol that involves an incubation period with just me, even if it's just a poem or a song. And then there's fear sometimes and shyness and criticism and this wasn't on the right note and you should have used a metaphor. What about contronyms? And then there's a shedding where I let all of that go. And I say, hey, I'm gonna put this in a book or I'm gonna push record on my phone. And so it is authentic, but I know people are getting it just a little bit after. There are some things that are on the fly, like my Instagram stories. There are times where I'm just me, but in terms of a formalized piece of work, it's on the fly, but it comes out a little bit later.
Yeah, you want to have a certain branding and presentation. So
Yes.
the subject matter.
The subject matter is
it spontaneous? Are you choosing the subject matters? Because they're all about emotion.
Yes.
There are specific things about emotion,
Yes.
opening up and understanding yourself.
Yes.
So is this a message you're trying to tell people while you're going through the process, or is it just about,
It feels like an act of grace or kindness to prepare a meal that's going to be digested. And so rather than like force feed, I am putting together a concoction that kind of goes down smooth. And I am intentionally leaving spaces from the release of content to books, music, for there to be a connection. Because I am certain that my vulnerability is a catalyst for, trying to think of a word, sameness. I don't believe that the emotions that I chose to disclose in my book are singular to me.
Oh, yeah.
And when you are taking in someone, even in conversation, a dialogue leaves space for me to speak, for you to speak, and more importantly, spaces for us to just be together, maybe without speaking. And I don't think a lot of artists leave that space because it's about the sales or it's about competition. And I am in constant consideration of number one, me, because I got to live with myself. And then constant consideration of what journey or where are we in our journey together? Yeah. I want to be tasted slowly. I want to be digested fully. Yes. Yes. And if you're in a rush, I'm not for you.
You're teaching. You went from the classroom to teaching another format that's not structured. It's structured it's structured, but not like a curriculum.
Yes, you're right.
You're teaching where it's palatable and it's like you're having a personal conversation with that person.
Yes.
If you were sitting in a living room or a cafe or a lounge and said, girl, let me tell you.
Yes.
That's how it feels.
Yes.
And sometimes, like when a friend is having a difficult time or somebody somebody you're close to, and you want to broach a conversation with them, but you don't want to hit it with them directly,
Mhm.
You tell them, you start a conversation, and you slowly get into it. That's what you're doing.
Yes.
It automatically engages you. And the next thing you know, you're there.
That's so true. Absolutely. So true. I didn't see it like that, but yes, you're right.
I see it.
Okay.
A lot of depth. And I thought you were in your 20s. We don't even have to say what age you are.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You look like that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And also, being women of color, being African American,
Yes.
it touched me because I'm a proponent. I used to be the chief of staff of mental health for a psychiatrist.
Okay.
I did a lot of past things, but anyhow, I believe that African American people in the United States have a lot of post-traumatic syndrome.
Yes.
We have a lot of pent-up anger. We feel like victims, and I'm not judging, but I think what you're offering is a way, because church isn't that for everybody. I'm not a church person. I'm not
Agreed.
a person. I was raised Catholic, been to Baptist church, been all kind of churches, but I'm a spiritual person. So
Yes.
wherever you are on the continuum, what you're offering to young people is a way to start to address what's going on, because we have a lot of mental health issues in society, period. Across the board, not just Black students.
Yes.
Black people, but I think your format allows them to say exactly what you said. I can identify with her.
Yes.
I know what she's talking about. And it's also giving it some understanding, because these are not often things a lot of families are talking about with their kids.
Right.
Because the parents don't talk about it.
Nope.
It's not something we normally do. It's not cool.
Right.
You got to be rough. You got to pretend. We have all pretendness, and we put on all these characters, all these spiritual covers that are not really the essence of who you are.
Right.
And your stuff allows a person to recognize that and begin to explore that, even if you don't recognize it. And that's what I love about it.
I think, and I'm thinking with you, so I don't.
Okay. I'm loving this.
I think that the moment something is unrecognizable or unidentifiable, that's a glorious moment.
Yes.
Those are our purest, truest, unconditioned moments.
An awakening.
And right. And I lean into spaces where I don't know. It provokes interest and intrigue and questions and curiosity. And much of that prompt for curiosity is sourced in pain. So I agree, especially being African American. There are stories in the Bible like, woe is me. Like, why is this happening to me? I can't imagine what our ancestors were thinking on a ship. Why is this happening to people that look like me? And when it is unrecognizable, because there are some terrible things that are not recognizable. How could one human do this to another human life? I think there can be value in that moment.
Oh, yes.
And so many systems and organizations, they void out that moment for either some kind of mind control or some kind of money play. I've seen it in church my entire life. At present, I'm not really a church person at all. I'm very much so a spiritual person.
I agree with you.
And everything, as a 5-year-old, what I would hear in my spirit would be completely contradictory to what I saw in church. What I would hear in my spirit would be completely contradictory to what I saw in the world. So you have this little brown girl who can't go to either extreme to find answers. What else could I have done but wander? And the only entity that I have felt more present with me in my wandering is spirit.
Yeah.
And there were no definitions there. I could just investigate.
That's the journey I relate to. Yes.
I
Yes.
could just wander and explore and create, and there was no judgment. There was no right and wrong. It was just, a constant be aware. How do you feel? And that has made me feel more close to myself, more close to God. I think being close to myself is being close to God.
Yes, exactly. I think it's very pertinent of what the world is going into today, the conflict that's happening in the United States, the conflict in the Middle East that's been happening since the dawn of day.
Mm-hmm.
This same thing that you're grappling with, in my opinion, me and my friends talk about, this is the human evolution that's going on now.
Yes.
This is the exact thing of why we have conflict. People don't know who they are.
Right.
Don't know where they fit in. They feel unloved, not included, excluded.
Yes.
Discriminated against.
Yes.
Put all kind of hurt upon them and can't understand why. But you got to look within to find the answers. Because everybody, we lived in an American society where it's so materialistic. They have you reaching out. The outside, that's not going to make you happy.
At all.
Within. But the system doesn't want you to do that.
Right. You are absolutely right.
You are tapping on stuff that can really help people find some peace, love, and really find what I think is the true God source within you. That's where the connection is.
Yes, I feel that.
Understand and love yourself, you definitely understand the essence of God, and then you can begin to spread that out throughout the world. But you have so many people that don't have that concept down.
Yes. I agree with you so much. You said so much. And I'm grateful to be alive in this time. I do not think
that
it is by happenstance. Absolutely.
I'm starving to hear it.
Yes. And that,
yes.
That, what's the word? That excitement for something new is oftentimes, not all the time, hinged on years of disappointment. I have been so let down by structures, countries, ideals, philosophies. It has forced me to look elsewhere. And the simple act of turning my head and looking out the window makes the world so much smaller and so much wider at the same time. And I think that it is an act of God's mercy, of Spirit's mercy, whatever you want to call it.
It is.
To turn our heads, because much of our focus and attention can be on what has disappointed me, what has let me down. Like you said, it was like this for grandma and them, it was like this for deacon such and such. And because the old school church ways disappointed me, men disappointed me, women disappointed me, principals disappointed me, bosses disappointed me, I can't look to anyone. And humans are, I'm not trying to get too deep, but we need,
get deep.
all right, we need safety.
Yes.
We need identifiable. We need this as good and bad. It's even in scripture. This is the knowledge of good and evil. And as a kid, I would think to myself, like, God, like, why would you put that there? Like, why? I don't know. Why would you put this tree right here? And I think that humans need to be able to say, this is good and this is bad.
Contrast.
And I think, I cannot speak for God or Spirit, but I think God says this is useful and this is
not.
And things that we would not use or we wouldn't choose to use, I don't think the Spirit is threatened by that.
No.
It's patient. It will let you be heartbroken. It will let you feel alone. And that emotion, that experience will be refined and it will come out so beautiful.
Joy is on the other side.
Yes.
I would do everything that happened to me again.
Yes.
Be the strong, confident, happy, secure within person that I am.
Yes.
It's the journey. It's like you have to, it's like when I tell somebody, like, yeah, right, you have to lean into the pain and embrace it.
Yes.
And understand it's just a moment, it's a process.
Yes. Yes. And it comes with the territory.
Yeah, it doesn't dictate the rest of your life. What I'm doing right this second, you don't have to color your whole life with it.
Don't. You don't.
Every day is a fresh new day
It is.
of
It
endless
is
possibilities.
endless. And you have to set that to live.
Yes.
People who don't feel alive are accurate. They're in yesterday. You aren't here, you know? And I have been there. I'm not saying I have been there. I have looked up and time has gone by and I'm still there, you know? And I don't want that to be my legacy.
Yeah.
I want to move forward or to move in any direction, really. Movement is life, you know, and in my mind, it feels chaotic. Like you said, like, oh, you're singing and then there's poetry and then you're doing this and like it seems all over the place.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Very harmonic. That's what I've been trying to tell you. It is not chaotic.
Right.
It has a rhythm of it. The thing I like about you, you've created your own niche. A lot of people can do poetry, a lot of people can do spoken word, a lot of people can sing, a lot of people can do a combination of that. But the way you present it is uniquely your own. The way you put things on a piece of paper, the way I asked you about, was that supposed to be? I'm putting it like that. I thought so, but I said I better ask. That is even different. It's very meticulous, very well thought out. It's natural. It's uniquely you. It does not come across hepatic.
Thank you.
Doesn't come across like that. I've dealt with artists or creative people who are scatterbrained and a lot of free people don't have that structure, doesn't come with them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not coming across like that.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Me curious about, where is she going next?
Yes, let's go.
What else is she revealing?
Yes. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad. That's good to hear. It's not as crazy as I think.
No. Do people tell you you're crazy?
The people in my brain do, you know, but that's the condition.
Your brain. Are you received? Do people send you messages? DM
all the time. Yes. All the time. And that to me, that means it means everything to me.
Good.
Everything more than the success that will come. I know that will come. I'm not concerned with that.
Yes.
But I have had all types of messages, and there is a lot about me that people don't see. And
no, I can see that.
It's not supposed to be seen because I fear that if it is, then it will be tainted. So I will share one thing. Most of the encounters that I have are on social media, and they are usually after I reach out to someone and I just say hi. I send a voice note. I am a real person. And there are people who tell me, I don't know what it is. I don't even speak English. There was this one lady, she said, I was feeling dark and I saw your YouTube and something just lifted off of me. So I thought it was me. I thought, maybe I just like your music. And so I had another friend who was suicidal and just having a bad time. I invited her over my house. We don't know what you're saying, but we put on your YouTube video and we both felt better.
It's the frequency.
Right. And so.
Frequency. You do resonate at a certain frequency.
Right. And I'm letting it flow, like you said. Good. And I'm also leaving it be because I feel that at some point in history, from this interview to this book, there's a moment that's going to be encapsulated in time and space. Oh, yeah. And my prayer is that this video, this book, these songs will find people in spaces where they need it, and I'm okay with leaving seeds, I'm planting, and I don't have to. This is Rumi's work. Rumi's work is to create, plant seeds, and just go. Don't worry about when it'll be harvested. Don't worry about who will get it. Just leave it be. And my marker isn't, 10,000 books sold or a platinum record. My hints from God are the messages I get from people who have been helped and comforted and seen and heard. And when I do feel insecure, when I do feel like I'm doing something that is not going to matter, I'm reminded that it does, and I keep creating.
It does. It's
right.
That's why that's why it comes across different.
Yes.
It's what you just said is coming across, even if you don't speak that language, that energy and that frequency is blasting full blast. It's like a bright light, and you're walking in the dark, you can't help but see that light. It's like, ta-da!
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's how it comes across to me. Yeah.
And it feels good to be seen.
Oh.
And it feels good to see. So part of my flow is in reciprocation. I
just had a deja vu moment.
Yeah. Renee, I want to be seen because I want to see other people. Something as simple as, for me, it's just the law of attraction, and the Bible says you reap what you sow. There are so many people who tell me, I don't get likes on my Instagram and nobody watches my content. Do you watch other people's content? Well, nobody asks me questions, do you ask people questions? It feels good to be embraced. So there are people, when you send me, I'm gonna listen to your work. I'm gonna read your book. I'm gonna order your book. And so it just keeps that cycle. And that's something I haven't seen in a lot of our systems, in our country, in our churches. It's very one way. And I've never felt that one-way energy from God.
Yes. Oh, no. Well, the reason why I do what I do, Remy, is because obviously, arts and culture are not taught in schools the way it was when I was younger.
Right.
And I think this is a way for people to open up, to discover things that are not just like you, to understand just how phenomenal these are. Outside of color, race, sex, gender, stuff doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can embrace that. You can start to expand your boundaries. And I think it would be more love in the world.
Yes.
More understanding.
Yes. I even tried to discount myself with you. I was like, hey, do I even qualify? Oh, you remember when I said that?
I was like, give me a break.
Right. Right. But
I select the artist. It's because people have asked me that, and it's something I'm naturally, spiritually drawn to.
Oh, okay.
I don't just say, I need 5 artists this way. I need one from here.
Okay.
And I am so blessed at the people I get.
Okay.
People that have been in their career who are renowned around the world to a person just starting. I love the energy and getting to know these people and finding out how they get involved, what they get involved with as creatives and why they express themselves. It's the story behind it that just is amazing to me.
Have you always been this way?
Yeah.
Always spiritually inclined?
Well, I was like that way when I was younger. I call myself an explorer.
Okay, I love that.
An oddball. I say when I was younger, I was real smart. And I grew up in a time, we're all a Black neighborhood. I was in Chicago, but I didn't listen to only Black music. I listened to white, opera, whatever.
Yes, okay.
And I've always had diversity of friends. And I'm like you in the sense that when adults were telling me things, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. God blessed me with some real old soul sense.
Yes.
I questioned a lot of things. I was a good child, but I was like, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. That doesn't make sense. And when I was in high school, I started to research religion, test about it and read about it. And as I got older, I was like, no, religion is not really what I want to do. I'm definitely know there's a God and I'm spiritual.
Yes.
So I, in my 20s, started to research about spirituality and enlightenment. And that's when I found myself and became determined. As far as career, I have done everything you could think of
I
because
can feel it.
that was my interest. I worked for the state for 10 years and had really high positions. My father was in a high-level elected official, so I was always involved in politics.
Yeah.
And I always liked art. So I transferred into this after I was lobbying in my 40s. I made good gobs of money, gave that all up. But I think I was a monk because I wanted to do this. I wanted to do something that I was passionate about, but I wanted to be able to give to people. And I had to sacrifice. I made a lot of sacrifices.
Yes.
But I feel in the long run, it's going to pay off. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. I don't have the financial things right now that I used to have, but I know I'm doing what my purpose is.
Yes. Yes.
And I love exploring. I've traveled all over the world. I want to do
good.
it. Like I said, that was like the contrast. I feel like I'm just getting started, girl.
Yes, I know that feeling.
A lot of life to live. You know that lady that just died, Iris, that's 102?
Yes.
Oh, that's me. She's my model. 150, still kicking it. I have so many things I want to do.
Yes.
So much life to live. So many people to meet.
Yes.
And I believe the negative in the world is just that negativity just gets all the noise. I believe there's a large percentage of good, positive, evolving souls in the world.
Yes.
I want to see all of them.
Yes, I agree with you. Oh, those are my heart sentiments. I believe that for sure. There's not nearly as much negativity in the world as is presented.
Yeah, they want, that's about control.
Yeah.
That's about controlling your mind. And I keep telling people, they're like, oh, if Donald Trump runs or this was I said, I don't understand why you people don't understand that it's more of us than them. You guys gonna get that. We have the power, but somehow they feel oh helpless.
Yes. But you've dared to explore.
Oh yeah, at my age too, and being a woman too, I definitely didn't subscribe into those little roles they put you into. I was like, I was always outspoken, really intelligent or whatever. Oh, honey, I've been through the ringer between the men, the women, whoever. I'm like, whatever, you go that way and I'm going this way.
Yes.
Did not let it stop me and not gonna let it stop me.
That's good. We need more people that think like that.
We do have it. We've got you. We've got Benny. Look at you.
I'm humble.
And you're a younger version. That's why I'm like, God, I love it. You know, it's one thing to have it when you're older, but to have young to have all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hope. You are hope.
That's
the future. It just makes me feel so good. Because that would be my concern. That's some of my friends' concern is that do younger people, younger generations have the maturity, the spiritual maturity of what's coming to them. Not the finances. I'm not saying this and that, you know, that gives you access, but you're going to, for what I think the universe is going to throw at Earth, you need some spiritual maturity.
Absolutely.
You need some depth.
There are answers that money can't buy, solutions that money can't provide.
Exactly.
But the spirit will help you avoid the problem in the whole first place.
Exactly. So often you can't buy it in a bottle and go to Walmart and say, okay, I want a little bit of comfort. Oh, they give me some happiness, understanding. You can't buy that stuff in a bottle. And you can't learn it overnight. You have to experience and really try yourself to get to that point.
You do. And you have to be patient with yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. And not look around too much.
Yeah. Because it can be a lonely journey.
It almost always is. Yeah. Even if you are around people.
I have a real introverted personality, so I'm real extroverted, but yeah, you do have to be people see stars and people who are creative who make it like, wow, they have everything. No, it's been they only see that part. They
Yes.
never see what it took for them to, it's a hard,
Yes.
lonely journey.
Yes.
You are doing something opposite of what society says you better fit in this box. Your legs are sticking out, girl, get them toes in there.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not easy.
it's not. And I don't want to follow that protocol. I saw that growing up in church where if you were gifted and talented, nobody really cares. They'll let you drink yourself in a hole, smoke yourself in a hole. We do it with celebrities these days. It doesn't matter.
Oh
Like
my God, it's so
talent
true.
puts you in a category of not human.
They'll
And
pimp
they
you
do
and
not
get
care
ready
for
to
you
hit
well.
you. That's true.
Right. And
It's so true.
I am invested in my care. You know, I'm invested in caring for those that come in my purview. And what I don't see, what doesn't come to me, I'm okay with that because it hasn't been attracted to me at this point. But when it comes into my field of view, I pray that I will manage it well. I will manage that person well. I will manage myself well because I see what comes with celebridom, and it isn't all what it's cracked up to be, you know?
No.
You want to be able to go to the store. I'm serious.
I don't know how long you're gonna be able to go to the store.
Or you want to be able to change your hairstyle. You know what I mean? I want to be able to put a wig on and then wear my fro. And then what?
All kind of fabulous.
Yeah, yes.
You'll be fine. So where do you see yourself in the next 2-3 years?
Ooh, fantastic question. Oh, that's such a good question. All
Because
right, 2 to 3
stop
years.
teaching, but you're teaching. You know you're teaching, girl.
The more I hear you say that, yeah, I'll take it. 2 to 3 years, I'll definitely have another book out. I'll definitely have some more music out. And I want to create these connection moments and portals all across our planet.
Good.
That involve sharing and connection. I don't think that I will always be the center focus, but I do think that I'll be the start, you know? And I think that's probably what I know so far. I'm very much so okay with not having much about what will happen and keeping it as something to look forward to. On a more personal note, I'm still working on my fitness goals. I want to get some more muscles.
Me too. I'm working on that.
And I plan on seeing the world and traveling more. I'm very much so an introvert. I deal with anxiety, and so sometimes being around people, it just requires a process. And I'm not trying to make me seem super special. I think
Oh,
like
no,
most
honey.
Black people have PTSD. We didn't call it anxiety back then. It's just, you just deal with it.
Call it heavy energy. So
yes,
I keep to myself a lot, but I do go out when, I like to go out,
yeah,
but I am an introvert and I
yeah,
keep a zone around me when I do go
yes,
out because
yes,
I don't mind, connecting with you, but I don't want that energy filtering into
yes,
my zone because some people got some real heavy energy.
they do. And I've always felt permeable. So
Yeah. Yeah, because
touches, contact, permeable in a sense of like I don't always feel safe, spiritually, physically, and permeable. Like I remember as a little girl, I would tell my mom, like, this person shouldn't be around kids. I've seen things. So I can be touched by somebody and you need to go get checked by the doctor. Yeah. So some of that, I call it like baby Jesus energy. It's like,
yes.
I don't know if I need to be
Me too.
touched.
I've learned to, the girlfriend was just asking me, I learned to cleanse myself before I wake up in the morning and I cleanse myself when I go to bed.
Yes.
But when I was younger, I didn't know why I was picking up pieces of people. I understand it now. So that's what I mean by that zone around me.
Yes.
I have a zone around me to protect
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Because other people are not experiencing that and they're not as in touch with their spirituality. But
Yes.
because we are, oh, you get it.
Yes.
Darkness is attracted to that light, and it's
yes, ma'am. You are absolutely
shield.
correct.
I have
You get me.
I have to have a shield.
Yes.
You have to, because you're sending a lot of people your way. You have to make sure you're cleansing yourself.
Yes. Yes. And just keeping some distance. And it's not to be mean.
No, you need
but it's
some
just,
time for you.
yeah. And I take the time I need, then I pop out on occasion. Then I go back into my little shell. And I pop out again, and I go back into my little shell. And that's
God, oh my God.
I think that's probably one of the missing ingredients from mastering massive success. I don't think enough celebrity or people with that much acumen like take breaks, step away, be real,
What they have real families do,
Yes.
Denzel Washington. And I mean, people that don't live in Hollywood and they're not on the camera every 5 minutes with what you're doing. Those people have real lives. The other ones are caught up into the fluff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It has been a pleasure. I could talk to you for hours.
I think we should talk again. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it.
Oh, we are. I want us